Hello, Fantasy Fellowshippers. I'm Jess, and here with me is Matt, the almighty god of the broken binding, an online independent bookstore slash subscription service slash indie publishing house, seemingly all with the single-minded goal of taking all of our money. Without further ado, Matt, thank you for joining us, and please feel free to give like a little brief introduction about yourself and your company.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for inviting me to begin with. It's a real pleasure to be here. It's really cool to see so many people dropping in. And I guess from what you guys have said, quite a few people already know who we are. But so I'm the owner of the Broken Binding and now the Broken Binding Press. Started up in February last year, selling signed bookplate editions of books and fantasy, science fiction. We dabble with a bit of horror, but it kind of blew up and has become something that I never expected. It's really cool to see, and we've got so many cool things planned for the future. It's 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 really cool. I can't believe it, and I feel really fortunate to be here. So thank you very much for the invite. And it's so awesome. I mean, Robin Hobbs on after, it's just so exciting. I think it's really cool that you guys have set this thing up as well. It allows people from all over the world to join in, which is really cool because so many people love sci-fi and fantasy, and I think fantasy especially has had a bit of a bump in recent years with all the TV programs and whatnot. So yeah, it's really cool.
All right, no problem. Yeah, we're very happy to have you. So what were you doing with your life when you first came up with the idea for the broken binding, and how did you go about starting off with this idea?
Well, so I worked at Waterstones for about 5 or 6 years, and I really, really wanted a signed edition of The Ember Blade by Chris Woodin. So I messaged. It's one of my favorite books, man. It's so cool. I think everybody should read that. It's fantastic. But so I messaged Chris and said, if I can sell 100 copies, will you send me a signed book? And he said yes. So I did, and he sent me a signed copy, and then I was rubbing my hands together thinking, well, who can I ask next? And then I asked Justin Cole, and he sent over some I don't know if you guys have ever bought a Justin Cole book from us, but he does stuff with invisible ink in them as well, on the book plates and on the letters that he's written for us in the past. So he does like these secret things in invisible ink that only if you can find out. And I thought that was really, really cool. The book plate thing, especially because it allowed me to offer a signed edition of a book, paperback for, it doesn't cost any extra. So it was a real nice touch. And then I spoke to a few other authors. I spoke to Mike Shackle, Essa Hansen, and it kind of just came from there. It was lockdown. I was really bored. And I just thought I might start up my own company, see how it goes. And then we did a big giveaway on Twitter for I think it was about £600 worth of books initially, to see if we can get some followers. And it just picked up from there. So yeah,
That's
that was really,
amazing.
yeah, honestly, I can't believe it. I think it's done really well, but I feel like there's so many books online that are, they're so expensive to buy secondhand, and if we can get them back into print, with cool extras on them for say £10 more than, or £5 more than what they were originally when they came out, we'll do it, and we'll continue to do it so long as we can.
Yeah, definitely. So was the subscription something that you planned from the start or upon getting traction? Or was that just where you decided would be the next best place to go?
Well,
The company?
the subscription, we never planned to have a subscription or really do special editions. It was more the book plates and just starting up my own online bookstore. I didn't think that I'd ever leave Waterstones, if I'm honest with you, because I was at university at the same time. But I had to choose the broken binding or university. So I dropped university to do this full time, quit my job and just concentrated on this. So Sean came in, I can't remember if it was around August time, just before August, maybe late spring of last year, to help me out. He's been brilliant. He worked with me at Waterstones. And I think the first special edition we did was the Faithful and the Fallen ones, because I've always wanted them in hardback, but they're so hard to get hold of. And then it went really well. And from there, really, we started thinking, oh, well, we could potentially do this as like a subscription format. So like people don't have to pay hundreds of pounds up front for a set. And they can get these cool books every month for, you know, £30. Which, you know, it's gone really well, and it's proven to be more popular than I'd ever thought it would be. Which again is
Yeah,
something.
I do
It's
like the kind of staggered payments. I think that's
Yeah,
really good.
I think it helps people out. You know, I've never had much money before, so it for me it was like, well, if I was wanting to get onto this, I wouldn't be able to afford a full set. So if people can get it via a subscription, it's even better. I think the only problem with the subscription at the moment is that it's become so popular that our wait list is it's pretty big.
Like 6 years long, isn't it?
It's yeah, it's longer than that now. It's I think
Wow.
it's getting really bad. I really don't know what to do with it. But you know, we'll continue, and you know, hopefully it will you know, it continue to tick over. I think you know, people drop in, and then I see that they sign up sometimes a bit later on again. But we always try to tell people to use the skips when they can, because you know, otherwise it's going to be a long wait if they want to get back on. And some of the books that are coming on it, I think it's going to be really, really exciting.
Oh, very nice. I actually was wondering how you chose your special editions or sub books, but as you've said, you kind of choose
Oh,
them
yeah,
based on what you'd like.
yeah, it's usually books that I'd like personally, and I've kind of stuck to that so far because it's it's worked really well. You know, I think that I've got quite a broad taste, and also it's seeing what's difficult to get hold of. You know, it's like the Abercrombie books. When we did the reprint of those, they were so expensive for a signed edition online, and we added all these little touches to them, and it was. I don't know if they were £20 when they were first launched, but for an extra £10, you get these special sprayed edges, the foils, and you know, you get the hardback. Whereas before, there was near enough impossible to get unless you had loads of money. I feel like that's what we tried to do across the board. You know, it makes it affordable for people. There are editions like the sub press and stuff like that, but they're very expensive, especially if you know, you're working a normal job like most people are. So our aim is to try and, you know, get the nicest product possible for the cheapest price to people.
Yeah,
So
that's really great.
yeah,
Um,
I think it's
Thank
important.
which special edition are you most proud of?
I don't know. It's difficult because they've all been really nice. I think I, I, our most popular one that we've done has definitely been the Dandelion Dynasty. That one, to be honest with you, when I first saw the books, they're absolutely stunning. Um, I'm very proud of them, but I'm proud of all of them. To be honest with you, I feel really fortunate to be in this position and to be able to, you know, um, pick these books and get them back into hardback. I think maybe the Faithful and the Fallen ones, because I never expected to get to that point. You know, I never expected us to do special editions or get into that market or anything like that. I think that they were really, really cool. You know, it was really cool to be told yes, be given the green light, and then being told that we, you know, and we can show off these images. And John came and did a little video with us, and which was real cool. We'd like to do more videos going forward, but it's just having the time at the moment. We've become so big so quickly that it's difficult to keep on top of everything. We've moved units like 6 times now. There's books all over the place around me at the moment whilst we're putting them onto shelving in the new sort of warehouse thing. Um, but you know, so it's taken a long time to get things sorted out, and then it's bringing people on to try and get on top of that. So you know, but for, as I say, for my um, most proud of, it probably would be the Faithful and the Fallen or Dandelion Dynasty. Or I really, really like the Edges on the Serpent Gates editions. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, I've got those. They're
They're-
very pretty.
yeah, they were awesome, man. And to be fair, our most recent one as well, Taste of Gold 9, that one is wicked. Um, but I think that every time we do a special, I always try to outdo the other one, the one before, but it can get really difficult. It's a shame that we've had capacity issues recently on the subscription. We weren't aware of them until the sub had already started. Otherwise, we would have held back. But I'm quite pleased with those as well. I think they look really, really cool. The publishers do such a good job. They really help us out, and they've been really supportive of me and the company, which is awesome.
So, what is the process about getting these books turned into special editions? Who has the main input on the design work? Do you speak to a design team? How does it work?
It varies. So I'll usually say to the publishers, "Oh, can we do this special edition? I'd really, really like to do this as a special edition." And then they'll go away and they'll come back and confirm if we can or we can't. It can be quite difficult sometimes because if another store's already done it, so one of the big loot crates or something like that, then there's like you have to wait so long before you can do it again. Because obviously we don't want to devalue copies, but we also want to do our own because it's exciting. But they usually say yes or no, or we can do something else. Once you've got the green light, though, they'll ask you what specs you want to add to it, and then each spec adds more costings to the books. And then when it comes to the actual design, as I say, it really does vary. They often ask what you'd like to see on the edges. When I did the Coward and the Warrior with Angry Robot, we was really involved with that design. But the designer, I said, go wild. It'd be really cool to see what she could do if she went wild, and they came out really, really, really cool. So um, that was awesome. But yeah, other times it's kind of like we ask if we can do this or do that, and they either say yes or no, and then they come back with images, and then you look at the images and decide would we like to change anything, and it's quite a long process. It takes a long time to do. Sometimes I don't know, because there's so many special editions on the market now. It's starting to take a little bit longer than it was when we first started. It's kind of there's been like a sudden boom, but some publishers are quicker than others as well. So, but yeah, in terms of design, I always try to give um, some of my thoughts on it, to try and see if we can get something that I think would be really cool. But I think it's important to listen to others as well, especially the publishers, because they're professionals and it's what they do best. So, it's always interesting to see what they come up with.
No, definitely. I'm getting a few sneaky questions about news about the Midnight Dandelion Dynasty reprints. Can you tell
Yes.
us anything?
Yeah, so we're just waiting on the costings to come back. Um, I think it's going to go ahead. It really does depend on the costings because I don't want to have to charge people a silly amount of money for them. Um, that's the issue. They're becoming so expensive now that the price seems to be going up. But the more you print, the cheaper it becomes. But for the Dandelion Dynasty books, I really do want to do the Midnight Edition. I think that'd be really, really cool. We are currently waiting on a costing. We should be getting it back hopefully in the next few weeks. I think they've got the costing. The head of Zeus has just been working on so many other things that they haven't had chance to send it through yet. But I I'm looking forward to it, and I'd really love to do them. So it just depends on what the costs come back like, but we've pretty much got the green light on that one now, which is exciting. It's really
Is
exciting.
exciting because the publishers, I don't think they've done a full set of either edition. You can get them as a full set in paperback, but the
Yeah,
hardbacks they kind of stopped halfway through.
yeah,
They're
they
really wanted.
Yeah, and they changed the spines on them as well, didn't they? I think there's been a few. I think our ones are the only ones that's with the new jacket, all in hardback.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the reasons why it was so big, other than the fact that the edges are obviously gorgeous, but
Yeah,
everyone wanted a full set,
yeah,
and they couldn't get one otherwise.
yeah. Well, this is it, man. When it first came around, I was when I saw that the next two books were coming out in the series, I was like, yeah, that's a really, really good series. I really want to get these in hardback. I was originally going to take them in the with the black cover, but then I said we went for the new cover, and they said about doing a digital sprayed edge on it, and they came out, and I couldn't get my breath when I saw them. And then when I first saw them in person as well, I don't think the pictures do them justice. Like the especially the block spray on the top and bottom, they're so the color's so vibrant that it I don't know, it's really, really, really cool. I want to see with the midnight ones, I think it'd be really cool to do like a dark purple along the top rather than black.
Ooh,
I think it'd
that
be
would be
really
lovely.
like like a vibrant purple or a dark purple or something like that. I think that would really, 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 really be cool. So, but yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But I think I think it's all looking good. Obviously, I can't confirm that we're actually going to go ahead with it, but it is looking really, really cool and looking like we will do it. I mean, fingers crossed. I'm not desperate to do it.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few comments about purple for the win. I'm very excited about purple. So that would be really fun.
It would be.
One of Yeah,
Oh,
it would be really nice.
sorry, I interrupted then.
No, it's okay. One of our really dramatic questions that we got is what limb must be sacrificed to get you to do Broken Earth? Essentially, we'd love to know what sort of ultimate special edition set of books you'd like to do.
Well, I mean, I'd love to do the Broken Earth. I think there's quite a wait list to do them, though. I've asked multiple times, but we're in a queue, so I don't know what's actually happening with that. But it's one of those series that I am chasing, and if we can do it, we will. A series that I really, really, really want to do is the Malazan Book of the Fallen. It's one of my favorite book series of all time. It kind of ruins fantasy for you after you finish it. Not everybody likes it though, but I'm a massive fan. I'd really, really like to do Malazan, and I'd love to do the Wars of Shadow and Light by Johnny Wirtz as well. I really want to get into tackling more big series, but it is a bit of a risk sometimes, because if you do not sell enough numbers, it ups the price of the next batch, which is it's annoying because you don't want to put people out. I don't want anybody to. I feel like books are really important to people, and they can change lives, and it's I don't want to put people on the spot where they've got to make a choice whether they want to continue getting their favorite books or
Or
miss
eat
out.
rice.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't want to put people in that position. I think it's unfair. So, but definitely Malazan and the Walls of Shadow and Light. I'd love to do them two series. Um, I really want to finish off the Abercrombie books, but if I could pick one series to do, it'd probably be Malazan. I think it'd be awesome, especially if we could do like get an artist in to create an edge, kind of like the Dandelion Dynasty edges, but have like a piece of art done for the Malazan series across all 10 books, so that you can turn them around on the shelf and it will show you this artwork, or you can have them with the spine out, and I could see them in my head. That'd be so cool.
Wow, that would be amazing.
It would
That's
be.
really cool. I mean, one of my favorites for you to do would definitely be the Wheel of Time, but that's so long that you'd have to make sure you had
Uh,
so many committed people.
I think that the best way to do that would be doing it over a number of years. So we'd do it like maybe 3 a year, just so people can sort of commit to it, rather than saying that it's once a month, because it becomes expensive, especially with all the new titles coming out as well. People won't want to miss out on them. So I think that would be the best way to do it. But obviously, with the wheel of time, it'd be going on for a fair few years. So,
Yes, definitely. No.
so
Um, so lots of people ask, like lots of people always ask us, when will I get my sub? Like we just hear all those questions in our community Discord. And did you expect it to be as ridiculously popular as it has been? Do you have any plans to do something like merch in your boxes, or is that just something you've never really considered?
well, it's not something I've considered. I don't. I think that potentially in the future. I don't think so right now. Our current issue is that we have become um, very big in such a small amount of time. So when we started in uh, February last year, it was just me, and then it was me and Sean up until January this year. And then Will joined us, and then now, so from January to now, I've taken on an additional, I think, 7 people. But it's like training people up to do certain things. I'm trying to get out of dispatch at the moment, so most of the special edition stuff that all goes through me at the moment. But I'm working like 15 hours a day because
Yeah,
I'm
it'd just be a lot. It'd just be a
well, I'm
lot.
taking like 56 phone calls in a day and running over to the fulfillment center to check on that, chasing stuff up with the publishers, having meetings whilst I'm in the dispatch room, and it's difficult to keep on top of it all. So once we've got somebody that's just started, once they've come to terms with everything and they know what they're doing, I'll be able to move away from that, and we should be able to start looking at other cool things. I really want to concentrate on the new press a bit more as well, but I could potentially get somebody in to help me with that as well eventually. Once we've got through our first a few books, I think then we'll be able to take somebody on. I really don't like minimum wage. I think I just don't like it. So I always try to pay people uh, fairly. So it's expensive. So
Yes.
I'll wait till we build a pot of money, and then I'll be able to pay somebody a proper wage to be able to start working in the press section of the company, which will be
I'm
really.
finding I'm finding the chat really funny. You've got lots of people volunteering to work for you.
It's an
People
awesome
that
job.
work in dispatch.
It's like literally, it's so cool because you can do anything you want with books, and it's I don't know, it's cool, man. It's really cool. It's I think everybody that works for the company really enjoys it. We don't have rotas either. So like you choose when you want to work, but everybody's I think that giving people that freedom means that customer care team, if they don't want to wake up till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, what we've got 3 people on customer care now. If one of them doesn't want to wake up till say 2 o'clock in the afternoon and start work then and make up hours until 10, we'll have somebody on customer until 10, and that's their free choice. And it's worked really well actually. So yeah, so that's a cool side of the company. But we'll definitely put something up when we do need somebody, because I feel like we're going to at some point,
Ooh.
uh, because I can see that side of the company doing quite well. Oh, sorry, just an email.
Um, we've got loads of messages about that. I think you'd do well putting something up, because I think lots of people with that would be their dream job.
Yeah, well,
Um,
we'll probably get an email made up for it, and then let people know when to start emailing in CVs. Problem is, if we were to do it today, it'd be like it's trying to keep on top of it and answer people, because I don't want to send out a copy and paste message, because it's rude. I feel like it's you treat people like people, and you want to get through all the emails that you can, but it can be quite difficult, especially like we keep having catastrophes where it's not our fault, but we've had a few issues recently with the Babel boxes and stuff like that. It's been a bit of a nightmare. Um, but yeah, no, definitely, I'll pop something into a into it on Twitter at some point. I really want to return to Twitter. I really miss it.
Yeah, definitely. We have a question in the chat. Who do you have who wraps the books? Because oh my God, they always look beautiful and the ribbons are tied so neatly, and I just don't
Uh,
understand it.
that's our new fulfillment center. So they're really good. They're local to me. So our first issue that we had was our original fulfillment center. They really didn't care, and they sort of they weren't doing anything. They got the books in and they just left them to one side, and they lost a load of stuff. And they was just they just they cost the company close to, I think, £30,000 in things that they'd done wrong.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
they told us, they gave us shipping rates, um, which were really good and reasonable, and then they just as we was about to start shipping stuff, they changed their rates and they said you got to ship through the new rates, and I was just like, so we ended up leaving them and we've moved to PRFM, and they really do care. And so they're originally a SIM company, so they do SIM cards, but the people that work there really like working with the books that we've been sending in, so we've got like a dedicated team there now. But originally it was me doing all the all the rapping, especially for the Dandelion Dynasty and the first in the Faithful and the Fallen, and most of the regular packages. I used to do all of them, but Andrew does them now. Uh,
Yeah.
but he does a really good job, and they do a fantastic job. I'm really pleased with it. They put so much care and effort into it. It's really cool, man. They've changed the way that we work. There's a few issues, but we're still ironing them out. They've only been doing it for a few months.
I think that's one thing I love so much about your company. Everything feels so personal. They're wrapped, like the way you wrap them, and you take so much care. And whenever I've talked to someone over customer service, they've just been absolutely wonderful. And I think that's something that's particularly great.
That's what we try to do. That's what every book matters, and we always do a QC on them as well. So we try to stop damaged copies going out. Obviously, a few slip the net, but we do try our best. It's always frustrating as well when you catch them and they're numbered, and you have to wait for them to go back to the printers for them to sort them out and then resend them back to you. And I think that
Yeah.
people do seem to appreciate that, and I'm really glad for that, because when we first came across a load of damages, I was really panicking about it, because I didn't want I don't want people to be left waiting when everybody else is receiving their books. I think it's not very good, but at the end of the day, that's the best way to go about it. I'd rather catch it before it goes out, and then be disappointed. Um, you know.
Yeah. All right. We've got time for one last question. This one, it's a longer one, but I just want to ask it anyway. So the very exciting news about the indie press that came out last weekend. What's your
Yeah.
plan for this? Will these be limited edition books you sell, a subscription people get? Can you share any more details about other indie authors you may or not want, or may not be in discussion with?
Yeah. I I'm really good friends with Ryan, and I thought it'd be really cool if we could do a special edition of his books. And then it kind of spiraled into us creating our own press. And I kind of started thinking about it, and it's kind of like, I feel like the indie market is, no one's really tapped into it properly. And if an indie author wants to do a special edition, they have to do it through Kickstarter. So the plan is that we can offer funding for a special edition, not to everyone straight away. Obviously, we need to work slowly on this so we can spend a good amount of time on it, because as I say, there's only 8 of us and there's only me working on this side of the company at the moment. But I don't think we're going to do a subscription base on it. I think it's just going to be bringing indie titles into special edition format, kind of like what we do with the trad stuff. And so we'll be using CPI. We'll be doing the digital spread edges, new artwork on the cover if we want to, artwork inside, the page ends, and all of the specs that we can get on the regular books. Doing it for ourselves. We're also looking to hopefully start taking on some books and publishing books at some point. There is a title that we're chasing at the moment. I can't say anything about it now because obviously it's not confirmed properly, but it's looking good. In regards to authors that I've reached out to about it, I don't really. I really want to do L.L. McRae's books. So she was in the I think Spiffbo this year, and I think that would be really cool. I have spoke to her about them, but it's as I say, I think it's going to be a slow process until we get our until we get everything in place to start
Yeah, definitely.
authors. I think it's exciting though. It's going to open the doors to so many cool indie authors to allow them to skip the Kickstarter and hopefully be able to put our name behind it and give it a push. It's really, really cool. I'm really excited to see what we can do.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Matt, for giving up your time to provide us with this unique insight into the broken binding world, as well as answer some of our questions. And thank you all for joining us on this workshop, which is one of our Fantasy Fellowship Con events. We have one more interview on the schedule, which is Robin Hobb at 7 p.m. And we will have all of our recordings available for you to watch on the website www.fantasy-fellowship.com/con 2022. Remember to follow us on Instagram, where we are fantasy_fellowship. And if you found the convention Discord for this event enjoyable, we also have a community Discord where you can chat all things bookish and be kept up to date with what's next. Thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Matt, for coming.
It's okay. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you very much, everybody, for coming to listen. I hope you'll really enjoy Robin Hobb. She's one of my favorites, so it's really exciting that she's on next. It's that's going to be a really cool conversation.